Now we're going to bring into, as I promised you, a feel of dynamite. The fountain of youth, the cure-all. Or is this a total hoax? Or is it a mix of false data, misinformation, disinformation, or just outright lies? And the answer is yes. The fact, ionizing water, which means you would have a positive electrode and a negative electrode, and you have a membrane in between. You make alkaline on one side, and you make acid on the other side. Now, back in the Second World War, the Japanese lost. The Americans embargoed them. There were no petrochemicals that was going to go into this country. The Japanese looked around and go, well, we got fungus problems. Where do we get some fungicide? And it says, what resources do we have? And they looked around and they found, well, we have electricity and we have water. And some bright Japanese researcher found this unknown, forgotten scientific discovery by a Russian back in 1904. And he said you could stick an electrode in the water with a membrane in between, and one side comes acid water, and one side comes out with alkaline water. And the acid water has some fungicide properties, potentially. So the Japanese goes, well, maybe this is a possibility. So they went ahead and created this alkaline water machine, or at that time they called it the acid water machine. And they were making fantastic fungicides. And let me tell you, this is the best fungicide, disinfectant, bar none. Okay? This will handle gangrene. This will handle fungus toenail. I mean, it is awesome stuff. Okay? It can be used in the gold industry for mining purposes, all kinds of applications. And they were going like, what we want to do is this alkaline water that's been dumping down the drain. And they go, I don't know. What is it? So they start experimenting with plants, and they start making plants grow real well. They start giving it to animals, and all of a sudden health turned around, got really healthy, and they go, oh my God, we've been dumping the fountain of youth down the drain. So here you have a picture here, which you will see many, many companies use. The membrane, electrode positive, electrode negative. The negative side, you have sodium, chloride, magnesium, potassium. And on the other side here, you have chlorine, sodium, not sodium, this is sulfur, and this is nitrogen, nitrates. And what happens is that you actually have a split of minerals. They go both ways, so things commute both ways. And this is the way you see this, a tank with two electrodes. This is the real way to make alkaline water, because it takes time, just like water filtration. It takes time to make real alkaline water. And what do you see in the market today? They're hooked up to a faucet. They're processing the water 1/5 of a second. And they're telling you alkaline water is good for you. Well, let's just stop right there. What do you mean by alkaline water? Chemically induced alkaline water or electrically induced alkaline water? Those are two completely different things. Those of you who are using alkaline water with filters to take out the fluoride and other things, those filters, first of all, don't take out the fluoride because they're only teeny-weeny small things. They actually have things called tourmaline. Tourmaline is a mineral, and it naturally, like a magnetite, which has magnetic properties, tourmaline has high negative charge. They also will throw in calcium inside of the filters. And when you charge it, you can make alkaline water. So they're pushing high alkalinity, high alkalinity. This is as dumb comes. It is no different than me standing up here and says, listen, you guys are too acid. Everybody, starting today, you shall take 2 tablespoons of Pepto-Bismol for every meal you take. And you go, he is nuts. But that's what you're doing when you're talking about chemically induced alkaline water. Okay? pH has nothing to do with the work that alkaline water does. Nothing. All that pH tells you is that the machine's working. Period. What then are you chasing after with regards to the alkaline water and acid water? So the first thing that makes alkaline water, real alkaline water, it reduces the water molecule by 50%. So those of you who are math is not too bad. A 2-inch pipe versus a 1-inch pipeline. A 2-inch pipeline does not carry twice as much water than a 1-inch pipeline. It's 2 pi r squared, means roughly speaking 3.7 times more water is carried in a 2-inch pipe than a 1-inch pipe, right? So when you say you're reducing the water molecule by 50%, that means it has approximately 3.7 times greater capability to penetrate the cells, to dig out the trash. That's what makes this water so good. Okay? The other thing is the negative charge, right? You don't carry chunks of steel, chunks of mercury globs in your body. No, you don't have metals in your body. You have oxides of metals or salts of metals in your body. Right? And the salts are positively charged. So this water, having a high negative charge, goes in and showers your highly positively charged heavy metals and acid waste. And it's that action, small water, high negative charge, the combination of those two pulls the junk out of it. Now, when you advise your patients to be consuming this water, remember, this is the real thing. And it will definitely detox the person. And it's kind of think in terms of a train. That's a freight train. It's a mile long. Once you get going, and once it starts breaking down, the trash, just because you put the brakes on, that freight train ain't stopping. It's still got that momentum. It's still going. And it'll take at least 2 to 3 days or a couple miles for the freight train to stop. So when you get headaches, runny nose, extra tiredness, those are the 3 common things, stop. That means stop means quit drinking alkaline water for a minimum of 2 to 3 days. And then when you start again, you start at really low dosage and slowly work your way back up again. That's the correct way of drinking alkaline water. You'll always get into the detox symptoms. People who are on medications, even especially pain medications, and even if they have not taken it for 5 or 10 years, but had a long period of time where they had a broken leg or arm and they consumed quite a bit of pain medications, make sure you ask these questions, because the first thing this water is going to want to dump is that pain medication, because it's so toxic. The body will recognize, and it will dump hard, and it'll be dump heavy, and they will hate you. So with those guys, I back them down to, maybe a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, and slowly, very tightly, and watch like a hawk for the detox symptoms turning on. And when it turns on just a slight amount, you back off immediately. Because it will definitely detox the people. And that applies to yourself, because there is nobody sitting in this room who isn't thoroughly polluted by our environment. So, and if anybody says, how long do we have to take it? Living in this environment, the rest of your life. Because you will never get it to a point when it's totally clean. Not this lifetime anyway.